Welcome back. Welcome back to the Total Woman Success Summit 2021. And like all the other days, morning, noon, and night, we are back with an amazing presenter. So I want to encourage you to go out and get your pen, get your paper, and be prepared to take copious notes. Now, if you just happen to be that person that's lost and you don't know how to find your way and you need the connection, today we have it right here for you. We have the Kingdom Connection with Elder Alicia Nicole Johnson. She is going to be speaking to you today on finding your cash in the kingdom and bringing you that kingdom connection. So I'm going to get out of the way and let the elder do what she do. Elder Alicia Nicole Johnson, it is your time on the stage. Take it away.
Look, you guys can see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Look, after all of this dialogue and all of this preaching, I almost feel like saying at the church, saying, man, let's give God some praise and then start giving greetings to the panel. Okay. Because you guys have did an absolutely amazing job taking us to church on this morning. So happy Sunday, absolutely everybody. I am Elder Alicia Nicole Johnson. I am the midwife of Next Level Ministries. And so what I do is I help women get over their fear of building a brand around their ministry or their calling, so that they can have the financial freedom to take their ministry to the next level and really walk out that vision that God has given them without worrying about how you are going to fund it. So my presentation this morning is going to be about finding cash for the kingdom. So now I know personally that, God has put absolutely something amazing that is in your mind, that is in your heart, that is in your hand. And so, ladies, my thought is that, well, actually it's not a thought, it is a fact that most of us are doing a lot of good works. We are doing good works from leading our teams on our jobs. We are doing a lot of good works when it comes to volunteering in our communities, even when it comes to serving at the local church. Now, while absolutely all of this is important, but this one thing that God has put on the inside of you, that call that's on your life, that thing that's born out of your testimony, that thing that's going to impact millions and millions of people. See, the difference with this thing is that it's personal, and it becomes a question as to say that how is this thing that is just so personal to me, how is it that I'm ever going to get this thing to the very next level? And so, how you're going to do it, and how you're going to take it from a place of obscurity to notoriety is a question that tends to just kind of gnaw at our inner man, because it's a hard thing when you know that God has put a level of greatness on the inside of you, and you're seeing all kind of foolishness that's great, and their name is everywhere, and they got their Satan shoes and all that other kind of ridiculousness, and you know that God has put a delivering word on the inside of you, but yet it's still small and people don't know who you are. So there becomes those barriers that happens to pop up that stops us personally for getting past this thought of how can I ever make this greater. So some of the barriers that you find yourself coming across is fear. All right. We have that fear on the inside of us that even though you're called to greatness, you're still going to stay small and stay unknown. And so because of that, because you don't necessarily think it'll work, because ladies, we're talking about, the mindset. If you don't necessarily believe something's going to work or something's going to be how it is, then you won't put forth the effort to do it. And that fear comes right on in, as we've heard throughout this summit, and that fear begins to bind you and keep you in a place. The next barrier that we have is the fear of what people think. So let's think about this. people get this mindset that begins to say, well, exactly who is she to go ahead and do an international ministry? God called me to. And, you get all these opinions for people. One of the most saddest thing I can tell you, this is the true story. We were doing altar service one day, and we were, had this prayer line, we was preaching and prophesying to people, whatever it is. And the lady that I was standing next to, she began to minister to this young girl and tell her about how God was putting this ministry in her hand. But the ministry leader, out of all people, stopped up and said, God ain't gave her no ministry because she don't do. And she began naming off, I'll just say, issues that she have, issues of her flesh. She don't do this, she don't do this, she don't do that. And so imagine how hard it would be for this young lady to now stand up into what God has called her to do when she's had a leader come and tell her what she is not. Come on, y'all. I know a lot of us has found ourselves in the same place. It is hard to stand in what God has given us because we have had other people and situations telling us what we are not, what we cannot be, what we never do, forgetting all along that God calls imperfect people, number one. And number two, half the folks that's judging you is imperfect and unqualified, their own self. I'm going to leave it right there. Barrier number three, your own mindset. I hit it a little bit, but I can go a little bit further. A lot of time we are bound in our thinking by tradition. We're bound in our thinking by misinterpretation of the word. When you hear the words monetize and you hear the words ministry, I know half of y'all did a double take. I have not talked to not many people lately who have not done a double take when they hear it. Their eyes get to looking all funny and their mind start processing, the thought process comes here. Well, I don't know if that's God. The gospel is free. And you absolutely are correct. The gospel is absolutely free, which brings me to my next barrier, which is barrier 4. As to most people who are in ministry, they don't seem to know the difference between Bible and then building their kingdom brand. Listen, last night I saw Bishop Jakes. I saw him twice. All right. On YouTube, he was preaching this message, which got me all the way free, on weights and measurements, which is Bible. Then on the Lifetime Network, I watched a movie that he produced. It's a series called The 7 Deadly Sins. That's a brand. All right. And so it is the brand that funds the mission of the Bible. And when you do not know the difference between them two, you find yourself looking funny in your face, talking about, well, I just don't know about that. I just don't know if that's absolutely God. Let me tell you, ministry costs money. All right. As cute as I am, wherever I'm trying to do in the name of Jesus Christ, folks don't want their money. And it is because I am able to establish my brand it is going to be able to take care of the funds in the ministry. The Potter's House in itself, I gave the example of TDJ. They have not been in service. And that's a great big old building full of a whole lot of people. But do you think it missed a beat? No, because TD Jakes is a household name. Maybe he's not necessarily talking about saying, I have monetized my ministry, but it is absolutely obvious as it is. He has the relationships to prove it. If that church would never open for regular services again, the work that he does with TD Jakes Studios, which is the brand, is able to furnish and pay every single bill in that place. And if not that, then the book sales, I think he got a Drop the Mic coming up. All that is monetizing, y'all. And one person said, well, they don't talk about it. And Joyce Meyer don't talk about it. And Paula White don't talk about it. They don't need to talk about it. That's my job. God called me to teach the kingdom how to talk about it. Their job and your job is to go ahead and monetize it so you have these funds to do what God called you to do. The next barrier, since I mentioned fun, is finding the funds. We get to that process of wondering how we're going to get our ministry to the next level because we come against that barrier of finding the funds. You see, in your heart, that God has called you to do a great and unique work, but you haven't fully stepped into it because you don't see or you don't believe that you'll ever have the funds to do every single thing that God has called you to do, because God gives great, great vision. But can I tell you that if God gives vision, he also gives provision? I'll say it again for the cheap seats. If God gives vision, he also gives provision. The thing is that we just simply have to do it. or we just simply have to step out and believe it, so then we can go forth and believe it. All right. So personally, if I was standing in front of the congregation, I might would just happen to tell y'all this is a good place to give God some praise, because he didn't obviously answered your prayers today by sending a midwife in your presence to help you go ahead and birth the abundance that you need to fulfill his purpose on earth. As a matter of fact, he done sent several midwives in your presence, because if I might just add, last night there was an absolutely amazing class that Coach Winningham did in relation to finding money. That does most of that stuff does not alleviate you, even if you are faith-based. Okay, so it applies to you as well. So God is giving you the revelation. We, on the other hand, just have to go ahead and step into it and see it and put our works behind it. So I think that what has happened is over time that a lot of us have found ourselves in a place from going to overflow, where our cup is overflowing, that to a place of stagnant. All right. There has been an absolute lot of changes that has happened across the worldwide within this past year, with the stuff that, we have had going on with the pandemic and everything. So many different industries have changed, and the whole, ministry, how church is done, everything has absolutely simply changed. And so where you were finding yourself in a place where, your cup was overflowing, you were there, you were doing ministry. Because see, if you called to this thing, you're going to thrive in these moments. You thrive with seeing chains being broke, folks being delivered, the word going forth. Folks really ain't got to lay hands on you. I shouldn't have said ain't. Folks really should not have to lay hands on you. The word in itself can set you all the way free, but it's just something about that atmosphere. And if you're a person who's used to doing ministry and used to being around people and thriving off of, the hugs and chains being broken and aha moments, then this shift that has occurred in relation to our ability to gather and how we can gather and how much and all that, it has greatly affected you. And so you find yourself where you were excited and bubbling and overflow up to a place where you can literally have become stagnant. This periods of depression and downtrodden. The believers are not exempt from that, especially the leaders. I also think that many of y'all just found out that you were tired, especially if you like a senior leader or something. Probably, hallelujah, praise the Lord. It's like, first it was a shock, like, I don't have to get up and go to church and preach this morning. That was like an initial shock. But then afterward, it was like, it's Sunday. I can go to dinner with Bae. I can go to breakfast with Bae. Look, you can record the service on Facebook ahead of time. Let it play on out. And Sunday is yours. And for many of y'all, you just simply hadn't had that in so long. But what happens if that gift is not stirred on the inside of you? Baby, you find yourself sinking into a place. I think a lot of folks had to really and truly begin to turn that motor to make yourself get back to it. But you can find yourself easily in a place of stagnation, especially once your normal flow just suddenly stopped. And we're talking a flow that you've had for, probably 30 something years, have just suddenly found itself at a place where it has stopped. And so, your when you find yourself in that place, you're a place where you have become stagnant of your call to your ministry. Goodness, come on, Father. Then what happens is that you begin to actually show up again. However, it becomes a routine, or that zeal and that fire that you once had before all the craziness began, that fire just begins to be like a little glow. Sometimes in that process, I'm sure a lot of you have found that your followers have probably dwindled. You might even have only had the faithful few. Now, it's amazing to me. It's just a sidebar. Folks going to Walmart, folks going to restaurants, folks is kicking it for dinners and everything. But honey, when it comes to that Sunday service, Lord, it's COVID. All right, we going to work. I'm gonna leave that alone. But for those of you who follow me, you already know I will go to the place where only angels will walk. And so what begins to happen is that when you find yourself in a place where you've become stagnant, and it could be for a lot of reasons, it didn't necessarily have to be because of the pandemic. It could literally be because you find yourself in a place where you're not doing what God has fully called you to do and fully walking out that vision. You find yourself in a place where you're stagnant. And so what happens is that, your spirit man becomes disturbed and there's an absence of peace on the inside of you. Why is that? Well, let's think about it. God has shown you, a vision, another level of vision. I have found that most people have an initial vision when it comes to ministry and what God has put on the inside of them, and then they go ahead and they start with something. But if you fully do the vision that God has for you to do, that it just wouldn't be no time for downtime. All right. But they're not fully walking into it. Sometimes you probably didn't even forgot it because it's been so long. And so, but even though that might be the functioning part of you, on the inside of you, that inner man has not forgotten it, because that thing is spoken down into your spirit. And like I said, it creates an absence of peace, because everywhere you turn, you see somebody do some version of what God has called you to do. And even on top of that, the Father starts talking. Y'all know the Holy Ghost will talk to you, okay? The Father starts speaking to you. He starts showing you glimpses, bringing things to your remembrance, giving you visions and snippets of you doing the very thing that he's called you to do on this next level, and how great it's absolutely going to be, and how many people are going to be set free from it. And so what happens is that now you personally become uncomfortable, because when God has literally told you to go up or go right, you find yourself standing in one place. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that takes your peace, because deep down on the inside of you, you know that the captives aren't being set free. And you know that your alignment is off. That's a whole nother thing we can talk about, but I can tell you this, that not being aligned is the same thing as not being in agreement, which automatically gives who a license to start meddling, okay? And so what I've basically found out is that, and I think all of us should pretty much know this, all right, that where God guides, he provides. And so I think that we have to come to a place where we are no longer giving excuses. Do you know that there are thousands of people who are not fully walking in their God-given vision, and money is the excuse that they give? I'll say it again. There are probably thousands of you who are not fully walking in your God-given vision, and money is the excuse that you give. All right. And I will tell you that you're part right. As I said before, and as we all know, it does take money to do ministry. However, most ministries, you don't have a money problem. What you actually have is a vision problem. Let me explain. Now, I already know that you wrote the vision for the ministry, and then after that, you probably jumped right in and just started working in the serving and the helping part of the ministry. But that's only part of the vision. You see, every ministry leader has a vision for how every ministry leader absolutely must have a vision for how they regenerate the cash that they need to sustain and to grow the ministry. All right. That is not an option. And please, ma'am, please, sir, your vision for how you're going to generate the cash to sustain and grow the ministry, it has to be bigger than just taking up an offering, because right now these buildings are halfway full. And when they do become full again, half those people's money has been messed with. There has been a shift in the level of giving. And so to make up for that, that has to come somewhere. We have come into a stage where we can't say right now we're only dependent on tithes and offerings, okay? Because where's ministry shutting down everywhere because they have not had the people in place to support it. If we even get more for real, now folks done found out they can hang out online, they can go to several churches, they could be a member, at a particular church. You done prayed and came to the house, prayed to their family, but they got the tithes going over here because that's their online pastor. Come on now. things are just simply looking different. If you have a personal ministry, maybe you don't have a whole congregation that you're in charge of. If it's just a personal ministry that you have, you still are not in a place that you can lean on, because most ministries are under, a covering. You can't go to your covering for money because they're the ones who's in that place trying to figure out how they're going to pay their bills. Or you can't necessarily say, we're going to have this event and we're going to believe people to, to come and sow into it. No, ladies and gentlemen, there has got to be another way for us to do this. So I am coming to you to tell you that people like Joyce Meyer and Cindy Trim, they are not the only women of the gospel who can build and launch and grow international ministry brands and sustain them by doing things like writing and selling books and having conferences and retreats and building communities. They started their kingdom brand in the same place that a lot of you are in today, with nothing more than just a yes in your spirit and a petition before the Father that said, God, I need your help. And thus, I have to say, that's probably why our class have crossed today, because the breaker anointing is absolutely in the house. Okay, I'm absolutely coming for those excuses that we like to give. I'm coming for all those I don't know how. I'm coming for that fear on the inside of you that likes to bind you and stop you from moving. I'm coming for that place of doubt that likes to make you second guess yourself and second guess God's provision. I'm coming for those wrong mindsets that you have. Even for that lying spirit that tells you that abundance is not your portion. Honey, my Bible says that God has given us the ability to get wealth, okay? I'm coming for it today. Y'all, you might be wondering, so exactly who is this woman who knows her kingdom authority and just read my mail? Well, of course, as I told you already, my name is Elder Alicia Nicole Johnson. I am a kingdom business and monetization specialist. And so, just a few things about me. My education is there. Lord knows I got an alphabet soup of degrees. I'm a licensed educator by trade, ordained elder, over 20 years of ministry leadership experience. I probably have held every position in the local church. Founder of the Kingdom CEO movement and women ministering to the masses, which, of course, if this is the first time you're seeing me, those two are the national movements that, the Lord had gave me and put into my spirit to help educate, and encourage and empower women, especially you women who desire to live, to lead change and to build your kingdom brand. And you can do that by monetizing it. And so, my desire is for women to be able to live financially free lives, which will in turn, enable you to help and serve more people. And then of course, lead a legacy. And so let's go ahead and talk about, in my opinion, the more of, who I am, because I think that while all that stuff is nice, I don't think that's maybe just simply the core. If I want to talk about the core of my being, really, I'm just simply a servant of Jesus Christ. All right. A child of the Most High God. That is pretty much, who I am at my core. And a Bible teacher. Gave a little girl, found her worthy and gave her the ability to teach, and baby, teaching is what I do. And I'm a Bible teacher. And so, this servant of God, just one who happened to be bold enough and step out and say yes and allow God to radically transform my life, probably the same as a whole lot of all of you guys. And the other thing is that I have monetized, ministries. And so I stepped out on faith over 15 years ago, and I answered the call to start, monetizing kingdom brands. It was first the leader who I served. I was an armor bearer, administrative assistant. I told y'all I did a whole bunch of stuff in ministry. And then it was my own brand. And so just personally, I'm a person, I worked on a job for, over 30 years, and I spent 20 of those 30 years trying to balance between working a job and doing full-time ministry. And I found myself at a place that I was beyond burnt out. All right. I was spending thousands, and I mean thousands of my work, income, savings all to fund, the ministry that we were doing. And, I know people always, they do ministry at different levels, but, we were doing ministry. We were all over the, country, traveling, ministering, doing conferences. It was a lot. And so really, just to be completely transparently, I unintentionally subtracted a lot of time from the gospel, really, because I was so stressed and worried and up all night praying, trying to figure out, how I was going to get the time off work to go preach, how I was going to get the team there. Can I reiterate that folks like to bring you in, okay? Maybe on a good day at Armor Bear, but they will pay for you. And we ministered in teams, all right? And so after I spent, hundreds of dollars flying, driving, taking unpaid leaves from work, and, then I'd done teaching workshops, preaching, revival conferences, only to end up getting that little envelope at the end. And let me specify the word little, all right? And so I couldn't be mad because the gospel's free, right? Yet the very thing that we are called to freely give, it costs us money to produce. That's just the absolute truth of it. And so the thing is that cost really and truly should not result in your household lacking, but it does, all right? It shouldn't take away from your family. It shouldn't take away from your health, or jeopardize your health, because you find yourself in a position where you're working overtime to prevent the ministry from going under, finding yourself where you're reinvesting, if you do, maybe have a little bit of a little bit of an overflow, you never really and truly find yourself getting ahead where you have the money to pay for the next conference. Why? Because it took everything to pay the speakers for this conference, okay? So it's like a continual place of lack is what you find yourself into. And that's frustrating for a young ministry. It's frustrating for a ministry leader that has vision to do international ministry and to impact thousands and thousands of people and to share your testimony. It's very frustrating, but yet and still, you find yourself in that position. Most of us, do. And so because of this, at that particular time, the burden, can cease to be light. And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, God, you placed this in my hand, then there has to be another way, because at this point, this burden isn't light, it's heavy. And that's not, the position that we can come from, and we can, go ahead and spread and the gospel in peace if we're feeling burdened down. And so many of you are at that place where you are feeling burdened. So what I want to make sure that I iterate to you is that the ministry should pay for itself. That's the revelation that I had to get, was that the ministry should pay for itself. This should not be, I was going about it the wrong way. This should not be something that is constantly costing me. And just as that is the case for me, it is absolutely the same thing for you. The ministry should pay for itself. So I personally went ahead, I monetized my own ministry, started writing books, did it as a workshop facilitator, conference speaker, conference and retreat planner. And then it even went a little bit further. Then I started getting into creating online courses, developing a Christian boutique store. A lot of things were physical. And then when I came into the online space, I made the things virtual. And so those are some of the things that I do. And I teach my clients how to build their kingdom brand and monetize their ministry as well, so that, they're able to fully fund, so that they're able to have the funding to fully operate within the kingdom community. So if you just think about it, imagine how many families you'd be able to feed, how many programs you can create, how many people you can put to work, how much help you can do, when, and even how much money you could give away instead of asking for it. Hello. And the legacy that you could leave your children if you went ahead and monetized your ministry. You had it in a place, in a position where it was consistently generating income. I need you to think about that, how things could look different for you. So these are some of the ways that I have helped my clients. The amazing thing about this is that although this is although this is my business, this is even though it's my business, it's also my calling. All right. As I said, I did a lot of things in ministry, and in this season, it is absolutely my call to really and truly, impart this into God's people and to begin to, give them the knowledge and wisdom. One of my sisters is always talking about a wealth transfer. And so, that works both ways. My personal belief is that, we should be in a different position where, we aren't always asking for money, but we should be able to give away money. I've been sat in services of thousands of people, and Lord will say nothing different to me than what, and it gets to the point that offering, he says, but what if we were giving away money versus asking for it? What if we were giving and sowing seeds? So, I can't put that on anybody else and take that away from anything, because the church, has been set up on a system. But sometimes God will send just a radical one with a completely different belief. And so it was actually just Sunday, I was in church, he began to talk about all of the money that I would sow into the kingdom, and we're talking thousands. We like to think, you get all excited when you begin to hear a word. All right. But Lord knows it takes faith, especially when you're paying staff and everything else. It takes another level of faith. It's another level for me, in what I'm doing. And there's another level for you. So just like I can't use the excuse to be like, oh my gosh, Lord, I don't have this. I can't do this. If God said it, he'll provide it. All I got to do is put one foot before the other, and it'll find its way to me. All right. I'll sow a seed into it, and God will make it happen. He'll do the rest. But I just have to make sure I do my actions. And so this is how I have really and truly helped clients in the past that I have worked with through the Kingdom CEO movement. I've helped them with putting on their CEO hat and learning the business, of ministry. I found that some people are absolutely amazing preachers, and they might actually, or amazing teachers, or whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe you're absolutely great at your missions and feeding people and all that, but not necessarily so great when it comes down to, handling the business part. So at some point you have to switch off those hats, and you have to put on your CEO hat. I've helped my people with developing, their own signature products so that they can sell. All right. Growing their online platform. A lot of y'all are just out here hitting play and preaching. God bless you. Some folks is just preaching like they was, I'm just going to leave that alone, but you just hit and play and nobody's even viewing what you're doing. And that leaves you frustrated because you're trying to figure out, well, am I even making an impact? Or you find yourself or you're alone still, because this is a call that God has put in you, because this is your testimony, and you don't necessarily know how to bring together a community. So growing your online platform is something I've helped my clients with. And then of course, creating your own personal, ministry money blueprint, which is, really a deep dive strategy into your calling versus the cash you'll need to fund it. What is it and how you're going to go about doing it? And then maybe we can just simply sum it up by saying developing, just developing that kingdom brand. Okay. So then out of that, we get a little bit more detailed on how I can help you. I can absolutely help you get to that place of stretching beyond your comfort zone. Because as we talked about, a lot of, those waters are stagnant in some areas. All right. And we're comfortable with how things is. It's amazing how we can be comfortably uncomfortable. We'll put it that way. So stretch you beyond your comfort zone, guide you in creating a plan, to generate money for your ministry, help you shift your mindset to abundance so that your ministry can thrive versus just survive. Okay. I skipped one. Find your tribe, your people, which I kind of already talked about before. Develop your ministry core values. Sometimes you got to revisit your purpose, revisit your why, go back to that vision and unpack it. Sometimes things change. And from that, create some tangible goals and action steps that says how we are going to take this ministry from here to here. All right. Go ahead and create a digital library from your existing teachings. Gosh, y'all. especially if you've been doing this for a long time, you probably got one of those great big old tubs full of going all the way back to cassette tapes, to DVDs. You got tons and tons and years and years and years of teaching. So even though it may have sown the seed then, it's not over with. The word is still relevant. So all of those things are potential income. And it really is, if we go think about it, no different. It's no different than the tape ministry that used to be. You have a sermon and be like, tapes are $5. It's the same thing. Okay. You can have your own tape ministry online, but you don't have to do anything more. You can take your existing content and you begin to create a digital library from that. All right. And you will probably, as we go ahead and we sit and figure it out, how many books that you actually have out. It doesn't even just have to be, doesn't have to be, of you teaching in front of a screen. It can be audio, it can be books. There's so much that is already in your hand that has potential income streams. All you have to do is give me the call. And even if you're at a point where it's something that you know what, I don't have time to deal with that, that's fine. I got a team and we can go ahead and figure that out for you, of exactly how we can put together your existing material and begin to create this library for it. Also, we will examine the you factor. Y'all, I cannot stress enough that some of y'all don't even know what you want. Goodness gracious. Some folks have, we get started. We know that we're called to do, and we usually have a leader or over person who's kind of giving us directions. But, out of that, what is your desire for this? Okay. Because you have to be happy in this thing. You have to have joy in it. It has to be something that ignites you and fires you up. And if you are bound by what someone else feels that you should do, and maybe you're not even just bound by it, it's just the thing or that you knew to do, but you have to sit down and look at it and say, okay, where does Alicia, the person, fit into this? Where does Vicky, the person, fit into this? What she wants? How am I as a woman? How am I bringing, this to the table? We have to take a look at that you factor, okay, and figure out exactly what it is that you want. I can also help you with getting started. Some of y'all have been pregnant for 30 years and you still carrying that baby for a decade, still have not birthed the ministry that God has given you. Some of you started with one ministry and God gave you a direction for another ministry because life has painted so many different experiences between 1987 and today, and you still haven't birthed it. That's about a 30-year pregnancy. And that's not what we do, ladies. So I can help you with going through the steps that you need to do to go ahead and get this ministry birthed and handle the business aspect of it and get everything legitimate and actually help you as a person so you know what to do. It's so frustrating to me when I see these posts and the person's like, I've been called to start a ministry, but I don't know what to do. And boy, y'all saints can sometimes act like ain'ts. Y'all get on them. Just admit yourself to Jesus Christ. Well, it's some practical stuff they need to do as well, okay? Just pray about it. Poor woman been praying since 2002. She has prayed. So there's literally just some things that you have to do to literally get your ministry ready and to get you ready to present to the world. And those are some of the things that I can help you with. Also, and going ahead and getting your ministry launched or relaunched. Some people are ministry leaders already, and it really and truly is just simply time for a relaunch, especially in this digital space, as well as, the whole conference and workshop planning, and then evaluating your ministry brand. Branding is not just colors and logos. If I talk to one more person excited that they didn't got a ministry and be like, well, I got a logo. I don't know why. That's the first thing that we do. It should probably be the last. But anyway, it's like the first thing that we do. And it's like progress. And, ain't nobody follow you. You don't know what you don't know, but there's so much more. What is the brand voice? What are you standing for? And yes, it is Jesus Christ, but there is a whole Bible full of scriptures. What particularly speaks to you and what your testimony is and speaks to the people who you're called to serve. Those are things that are part of your brand and your brand message that we'll do. And then the last thing is actually helping you find that work-life balance, because Lord knows things can get out of place. I'm not necessarily telling you what I think, definitely tell you what I know. So out of balance, all those, so out of balance, all of those years. You know, my son, he ain't running to nobody's church service these days because he said I churched him to death. You know, it's hard as a parent to sometimes apologize for that, but there wasn't a balance. You know, Monday, I think he'll bring it down. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We was there. Double services, you know, and then I was active in the ministry. I was teaching Bible study. I was teaching the ministers in training. So yeah, everybody was there another night, you know, and of course your kids aren't looking at the fact that, well, goodness, I was making sure he's in, you know, that I was running with him in the on top of all of that. All right. Working ministry, running with him to basketball and karate and private lessons. And he ain't looking at all that. He just know Tuesday, I think Monday was off. Tuesday through Sunday, we was in church. So I can teach you that one from experience. All right. So I want you to kind of go ahead and think about some things and think about what if nothing changes. You know, I really wouldn't want you to be like thousands of women in ministry who are frustrated in their call. And so why is that? You know, because, you know, you don't want to find yourself where you're continuing to sow all of your time into someone else's vision. Now, please don't get me wrong. Whatever house that you're in, you do need to make sure that you do sow and serve into that. But the key word here is all of your time. All right. I served. Ooh, good Lord have mercy. It was another job, you know, into my local church. And just the short version of it is they decided, oh, well, you know, we're going to shut the ministry down and move. Now, did I give them the side eye? Yeah. Did I have a right to? Probably not, because it was their vision. But what I don't think anybody really and truly was having a conversation to say is that, you know, I served and I poured into this, you know, a lot. You know, this was my life for a very long time, especially, you know, before I had gotten married again. So I poured and I sold a lot of this. And so when they made the decision to say, oh, well, we're just going to shut the ministry down and go live and do something else, then, you know, that was a part, you know, of my seeds that were suddenly no longer there. And so I probably may not have necessarily have had that if I had probably taken half of that into the, you know, the ministry that God had given me. But I necessarily had a lot of wisdom early in those days. So that's not and it led to a place of frustration. It really and truly did. And I ain't mad at nobody now, but, you know, period. But at that time, that's exactly how I felt. And I know that's not myself. As I said, thousands of ministries have found themselves shutting down. And we find ourselves, you know, like, well, what next? Because this thing isn't there. And y'all, I can tell you, when you don't have that ministry where you have, if it was once in a place where it's all that you did, it's suddenly not there, baby, the enemy will send something else to occupy your time. That ain't my topic right now, so I'm gonna keep on moving. So, all right. So, you know, that place of frustration comes if absolutely nothing changes, when you find yourself pulled, you know, between that place of ministry and family. And I already didn't talk about it. It's a hard balance anyway, but to continuously be pulled in that place, you know, it causes a frustration. If absolutely nothing changes or you don't take any action when it comes to making sure you have funds available for your ministry, then you find yourself stressed because you're, you know, unsure how you're going to keep the lights on, you know, or you find yourself more stressed. It's a hard thing, guys, to have people around you in need. And, you know, they like, I didn't call mama, I didn't call so-and-so, ain't nobody got it. And you sitting there, Lord Jesus, with your anointed self. I ain't got it either. It is frustrating because in the heart of a believer, you know, baby, you know that you want to, you know, feed the sheep in ways other than just with the word. Okay. There's financial needs that people have. All right. And it's a hard thing and it's a stress when you can't give it, you know. And so you also find yourself stressed because it's like you, are frustrated because the labors are few. And the truth of the matter is that sometimes you just simply need to hire people to help you with your vision. All right. And so as a result, you're going to find yourself, you know, praying and waiting and saying, well, just when this happens, just when that happens, you know, and a lot of times you just you get stuck. All right. Waiting on God to answer prayer. I got to talk to y'all about y'all waiting, you know. God has put it already in your hand. What is the old saying? While you waiting on God, God is waiting for you. Okay. Somebody had told me just yesterday, well, I felt in my spirit I'm supposed to do so and so and so and so, but I'm praying about it. Well, I was like, well, hold on now. Hold on. And this really and truly had nothing to do with ministry. If you got the confirmation in your spirit, what are you praying about, Gideon? Just how much fleece do we need to put out there? All right. So we get frustrated just in all kind of ways, praying, asking God, why, how come others and not me? When is my turn? Just a whole lot of stuff. I don't know about you, but I can tell you the one thing that probably would have had, that had me the most frustrated was I was absolutely tired of giving away, my knowledge and my wisdom and my revelation. I'd have spent hours, and Lord knows if you try to exegete the text, you're going to spend some hours studying. Reading the Bible don't take long, but studying something out, it takes a lot of time. And so, taking all that time that you have invested in studying and learning and hearing. You see, when you open your ear to hear what God says, to get that revelation, that's quiet, that's time. So when you're spending all your time doing that, and then you just turn around and you just give that for free. Lord Jesus, we could have more coffees. I see you doing ministry, sister. Let's go and have coffee about it. No, no, the gospel. Yeah. I'll tell you everything what thus saith the Lord, but there are some things that God has for a much wider level, a much greater. Have you ever preached a word and been like, man, this just cannot be for these 12 people. I know this is supposed to set a lot of people free, right? So those things should be in some kind of a book. Those things should be on a message on some kind of a national stage, but you have to package it all together and put it there. And if we don't make any changes as far as doing something different to get this ministry out here to more people, you'll still be frustrated. Like, man, I know this should be different, but it won't be. Let's go ahead and wrap this up, y'all. So talking about some things that I can do to help you. And I think I kind of went over these before when I talked about some things that I can do to what I do for my current clients. I can really truly help you with separating your kingdom work for your kingdom brand. All right. I can help you in that place of setting up the flow of blessings. Look, you are blessed to be a blessing. So you'll have that flow of blessings coming into your ministry and into your family versus being in a place where you're always, either praying about it and not taking any movement, or you find yourself at a place where you're, always asking, someone else to go ahead and bless the ministry. You want to have yourself positioned where you can create a ministry that's able to be a blessing to the body, as whole. And I can definitely help you when it comes to that place of setting up your prices, on the value of your services that you provide, so that, it's not some kind of a crazy guessing game when it comes to the seed, that's expected to be sown into you. You can stop having all that coffee. All right. I can help you with shifting your mindset so you are free to develop the Cleveland, the kingdom brand that God has created for you without worrying about, what other people think. Judgment belongs to the Lord. I'm just going to say that once. I can also help you with creating that ministry life balance. All right. I think that the mistake that many people in ministry make is that, we help everyone else and then we expect to see, all right? And then we get an attitude when one is not sown, okay? So really and truly, I'm totally excited to be in a place to help you with packaging your services and packaging your prices and pricing your gifts, really, so that, you don't find yourself in a position where you're saving the world and ultimately, you're unable to save yourself, okay? And then I just really and truly need to reiterate that this is not an option, okay? There are people waiting on you, all right? I had learned from my pastor a long time ago, the art of getting up every morning saying, Lord, send somebody from somewhere to, and then the rest gets filled in. And sometimes that somebody from somewhere is someone who needs your service. And guess what? They'll pay you for it. Should I say it again for the cheap seats? They need what you have to offer. There's a reason why that you spend all that time studying, okay? They need what you have to offer and they'll pay you for it, okay? That's absolutely true. So I want to make sure that I leave you guys with how to reach me. And, you can reach me by scheduling a call. I have given you guys a whole lot of information. And so, and of course, we can't do everything, in just a simple presentation. So you can reach me by scheduling a call at rebrand.ly/ministry income. And that leads you directly to my calendar. It is absolutely free for you to have a call or strategy session with me, and you'll be talking with me, not anybody from my team, and we will get down to what saith the Lord, what direction you have, what is in your heart, and then how the Lord can use me to help you get there. And y'all, I just got to tell you, I'm excited about it. This is going to be absolutely so amazing. This is a movement that God is doing in the earth in this season, and I know lives are going to be changed. I'm going to open it up for questions. And I can't see any. So I might need the team to come back.
I'm going through the chat right now. And
I'm going through. I don't see anything on Facebook.
I don't see any questions. I see a whole lot of comments.
Okay.
Yes.
Preach, the midwife of Next Level Ministries. There were some quotes of yours that I put in here.
Well, thank you very much, Lisa Brown. Lisa Brown said no questions, but this was so amazing. Honey, we gonna praise God. Amen.
It was amazing. And I have to agree,
Amen.
Alicia, a lot of people have had to change the way they do ministry. Had they been on the forefront of that, they'd be in the game.
Oh, definitely so. Definitely so. And it's not going back to how it was. I think if that's anything that I can reiterate, because there's so many saying, well, we all get back and when we come together, but no. Folks that got a whole nother vision. All right. Even the mothers then got a vision, and the truth is that a lot of times when we find ourselves tired, it's hard to say it, but honey, that Sunday, people get a whole nother vision for the Sabbath. They do. So, that has always happened throughout time. There has always been seasons and cycles that have happened that has made us have to change and innovate and makes things different. And we know before the end come, every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that he is Lord. Everybody will have a chance to be presented with the gospel. So, this World Wide Web, it is a method. And for those who were refusing, didn't they have to come in line now? They had
to bow down, Miss Alicia.
They had to.
They had to bow down. And COVID has changed ministry, period. Mm-hmm. And as I said, many were left behind, but had they just, I've heard people say the internet was the devil, all kinds of things. But if they would have just conformed, some of those leaders as T.G. Jakes, Paula White, Juanita Bynum, they were not blindsided because they were already there.
Yes.
They were already there. Mm-hmm. But this was some hot topics this morning. I sound like
how you doing?
Wendy Williams.
We had some hot topics this morning. Well, let me tell you, I have enjoyed this today. We have went to church. We have sang a hymn or two. Miss Rose is sitting over there with her mother hat on the mother row. She has brought us some great entertainment this morning. And if we don't have any questions, I tell you what we can do. We can give out a prize and we can exit stage, because I think we may start a little early for our two ladies that we missed this morning. Okay. So people that are in the Zoom room and out on Facebook, be looking in the messages, because we may come in a little early where they are across the waters in Africa. 8:00 is a little late.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's 2:00 in the morning for them.
Yes, it is a little late. So be on the lookout, and just I'll post in our group that we may start a little early, because I really want them to go today, because their message is for today.
Yeah.
And we don't want to miss it. We don't want to miss it. I know they were going to take us somewhere today. I'm telling you already, I've been talking with Chanel all week, and that girl has some fire to bring us this morning too. So just be on that. Miss Rose, did you remember who came first?
Oh my goodness, let me see.
Me? No.
Me. No,
No, it
there
wasn't
were
me.
people, there was I think 3 or 4 people that were here when I came in.
If you remember names, let's do
I
person.
don't, but I tell
don't.
you what, who was here first? Let's see. I know, yeah, you were.
Dee was here.
Mhm.
And also, Mr. Alicia said while she's searching, she said join her mailing list at Kingdom. What is that? Is it Kingdom
CEO
Movement?
movement.
Oh, Kingdom CEO Movement.
KingdomCEOmovement.com.
Yes, and
Yes.
join her mailing list. Or of course, we gave out her call link at rebrand.ly/ministry income. So Rosemary says she don't know if she was first, but she
Well,
knows
we
she
can,
was
She
here.
knows she was here. Come on now,
we can
Rosemary. In the
always,
house.
we can always put the names on the
Well,
wheel.
let's put the names on the wheel. I like that
Always
wheel.
put the
Miss
names on the
Rose had
wheel.
that nice
Crystal
wheel.
says I woke. She says I woke ready. I logged in at 8:15 a.m. my time because it was so good.
Like I
What
said,
is-
there were about 3 or 4 people, I think, when I came in.
Well, you know
Wow.
what, Miss Rose, you told them earlier in the week, don't meet us here, beat us here.
I
And
did.
every night they have
Yes.
been beating us here. When we log on, people are in just waiting to come in. That's how great you women have been
Love
this
it.
week.
Medina,
Yes, baby.
you want to give me the names to put on the wheel?
Certainly. Let's go. We have Miss Ava White in the room, Miss Cherie, let me know if I'm going too fast.
You good.
Okay, Crystal Durham,
Uh-huh.
Desra, Dr. Nikki, Gertrude, Lachey, Lisa Brown, Makisha, Rosemary,
Okay.
Sylvia, Tawana,
Hold on. Hold, please. Now, Lachey, is that LaShayla?
I think, is it LaShayla? Lashayle.
Okay, who's after Sylvia?
Sylvia is Tawana Wade
Okay.
and Vicky Boyd. Are we going to do Facebook too?
Yes.
Okay, who's been on there the whole time? I wasn't on there the whole time. Well, that's okay. Say me in the chat if you're in Facebook, and let's see who name come up. Facebook, if you could tell us me in the chat, so we'll know who you are, so we can put you in this morning's drawing. Terrell, Don is in the Facebook.
Well, let me add you to the list, Dawn.
Inspiring
Cynthia.
others to put me in the chat is all.
Cynthia's in the chat.
Mhm.
Lori Grant is in the chat.
Oh, hi, Lori. Okay.
Say me. I see 7 people. I only see about 3 people say me.
No Varnice, right? Veronice?
I can't see like who.
Let me see.
Did you guys get Terrell Knox?
Thank you. Okay.
We got you, Miss Terrell.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there are 8 people out there. I guess they don't want their name in the hat.
Dee Morris is in there. Terrell is in there. Vicky's in there. Berlin is in there. Bridget.
Oh, you know what? I may be on the wrong one, huh?
Chiquita was in there. Tanisha was in
Chiquita.
there.
Hold on.
You got Chiquita, you got Verlin, have Bridget.
Tanisha.
Hold on. You said Tanisha?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are they saying me, guys? I don't see me.
No, I'm just scrolling in there. I'm calling them out. Type me in
Oh,
the
okay.
chat if you're still here. There's
Do you
Terrell.
have Lori?
Yes.
Mhm.
I have Crystal, I have Lisa, I have LaShayla, I have Terrell, I have Diane. Is Diane Harris in there?
Not
I
on
don't
this one. He's
see.
in Danielle Patterson Winningham's page. I'm in Danielle
Desra,
Winningham.
Rosemary, Juanice. Is Juanice in there?
No, I
I
don't
don't see
see
one
her.
is.
You take her off.
You have Courtney?
Ava, no. Courtney,
Yes.
no. Cherie, Dr. Nikki, Gertrude, Sylvia, Tawana, Cynthia, Dawn, Lori, Verlin, Takita, Bridget, Tanisha, Chiquita. Oh, I got Chiquita. Do I have Chiquita twice? No,
Did you say Gertrude?
I did.
How about LaShayla?
LaShayla, yes.
Sheila? Sorry.
Oh, I see Lisa Brown. I don't think I've seen her name before.
Yeah, she's on.
And what about Sylvia Elgin?
Yeah, I have Sylvia.
Okay. All right, let's spin that wheel. Vanna, would you spin the wheel?
All right, let me do a screen share so you all can see it. Let me share my screen. Y'all see?
Oh, that's Jeopardy. What's the Wheel of Fortune sound?
Oh, the spinning of the wheel.
Oh, sure is.
Right.
Here we go.
Click, 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 click.
Here we
click.
go. Here we go. Here we
Make some
go.
noise.
Okay, I think it's about to stop.
Verlin.
Miss
Verlin.
Berlin.
Our
Congratulations.
beautiful Rose.
Wow.
Miss Berlin is going to get a $25 restaurant.com gift card this morning. Whoop, whoop.
All right, are we
All
spinning
right.
it again?
We're going to spin one more time.
You ready?
We're ready. Oh, Miss Lisa Brown. Lisa Brown.
Go, Lisa. Go, Lisa.
All right, ladies, I just
Oh,
need
yeah.
your
We
email
need to
address.
add
Go ahead.
Vicky's name in there somewhere.
Oh, your name wrong, Vicky? I thought I added you.
Oh, no. I'm reading the comments. No, I don't think I was added, but that's okay about me. I thought Vicky said she hadn't been added. Girl, I got my glasses on and still can't see. I'm sorry.
Vicky Boyd.
Oh yeah, Miss Vicky Boyd.
Hold on, hold please. Let me see. Let me move us out the way. Oh, now y'all still in the way. Hold on. Oh no, she's not. But let me put her on here right now. All right.
All right, so Miss Lisa Brown, just make sure I get your email address so that we can get that out. And then Miss Berlin, we have your email address. Only other things, do you ladies have any closing remarks for today?
The only thing I can say is woo wee.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much, Alicia. You could have said no, but you didn't. You said yes. And your yes has made me say yes again in a whole new way. And and I just thank you. I needed to hear everything that you said, because even though I know that I'm here to impact the lives of educators, listening to you, I'm going to show up in a bigger, more significant way because of the words that that God spoke through you on this morning. So thank you for being obedient.
Amen. Amen.
We have a comment. Miss Lisa Brown said, your ministry for business is needed among Kingdom members for sure. Absolutely. I agree with that totally. Miss Vicky Boyd said, thank you. I'm full this morning with the messages.
I'm with you, Vicky.
Amen.
I'm with Vicky.
Yeah, I said ditto.
I started
Mhm.
professing. This dropped in my spirit, and I said, you know what, God? I said, this is so much not about me, but it's the work that you choose to do in your kingdom to position the body for a place. So as people are doing their conferences and all that, my DMs need to be full because your word needs to go forth. So I done did my part. I have it together. I done, did everything I knew to do. I need you to do that. And I think that that is really and truly just the direction for this season, and definitely with this community. Everybody is walking in their own assignment and call. If you never connect God to it, even if you personally don't, it still is a work that God has in the earth. The person who did a light bulb probably wasn't even thinking about God, but yet and still God said there needed to be another some artificial light here. So in some way the gospel could be advanced. So
That's right.
Everybody is at that place. So that is just my proclamation, that those our DMs would begin to overflow. And that's for everybody listening as well, that God will put in the hearts and minds of people and allow them to see the work that you have done and how it could be a benefit to you. And they would begin to call you. And then you begin to confess yourself. God sends somebody from somewhere who needs what I have to offer. And I pay.
Yes.
I love how you tie that together. I love how you help us bridge that back together. That we have to, there's an old saying that once the canvas is ripped, the only way to heal it is to weave it back together.
Come on now.
You're essentially helping that mindset for us, at least for me, to not have these two separate worlds.
Yes.
It's one world and we need to weave it back together.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. This has been so good. I told you guys to come with that pen and paper, take these copious notes, get this kingdom connection. Baby, I wrote down when she said, and this is a testament to people when they're in their fear. And she said, the saints are acting like ain'ts.
She said it.
Okay. So they know what they're supposed to be doing, but they're walking in that fear and not doing it, not moving forward. And this was just so profound. It was good. Honey, I was all in my phone. I was messaging folks. I was calling the ministers and the apostles and the prophets. I have my phone saying, you better get on. You better get on. And here she is. Here she is. Don't be surprised, Elder, if I go dropping some folks in your chat box, doing a little brief introduction, and then I'll let you take it from there. I got a couple people I'm sending your way for sure.
Yes. Miss Lisa Brown says she has 10 pages of notes and thoughts.
Lisa,
10 pages.
Tell her to
of
book a
notes
call, please.
And thoughts.
Wow.
You need to schedule a call with me.
Right.
Absolutely, because what is it you said, Alicia? Where God guides, he provides.
Come on now with it, honey. He is. It does. And that's on every level. It is, because it's one thing. I mean, you think about, okay, now when I started working, I was making $3.35 an hour. And some kind of way that was able to sustain me in the natural. But then as life changed and whatever it is and income change, there has always been a greater level of income, and it can sustain you in that place. And the same thing is with your calling. You might think that because you've been doing something for 15 years and I got this and I'm able to do this, but how am I going to do that? If he gave it to you, he'll put it, he'll put what you need in your path to do it, but you gonna have to do more than get up off your knees, to stay on your knees and pray about it. You have to go and do something. And then what I'd have learned in this community, coaches, you just can't throw money at it. You gonna have to do the work. If you never open your mouth, if nobody never knows about it, and then it becomes unfair because these folks is jacked up and needing help.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And you know what? Some ministers, they think, well, all I've ever done was preach behind the pulpit. This online stuff is new to me. I said, and you mentioned it. If you have those $5 cassettes, guess what? You have a digital library.
Right. That's right.
So not only do you have a digital library, you have things that you can create a course from. You have books probably written in those digital libraries. You've got to think outside the box, outside the four walls. I'm a licensed minister, and I was talking yesterday to a group of ladies, and I tell them, I've never been that behind the pulpit minister. I've always evangelized. So a lot of people, minister, I know my calling. And my calling was not to stand up behind the pulpit. So I stay in my calling and in my lane. And I feel like, had I just been tunnel vision to licensed ministers or just to preach, in one location, then I probably wouldn't have reached the masses of women that I've met in prisons that I've taught in over the years.
And that's the Great Commission. I mean, there's 5 ministry offices, okay? Apostles, teachers, evangelists. I mean, and a lot of times a pole evangelist, it's like nobody's really trying to vie for that, but honey, that is the Great Commission, honey.
That is it. That is it.
To go ye into all the world and preach his gospel to every creature. Come on now.
There are many ways to serve in the kingdom.
Yes.
Many ways, many avenues of service.
Yes. So
and it's just
go ahead. No,
I was just going to say that the whole while you were speaking, I was just saying that, it's so much to be learned coming out of this this pandemic. And for me, as it relates to ministry, God is really reminding us of the Great Commission, and that we get so comfortable being in just one place.
Yes.
God wants us to go further. He wants us to go deeper. He wants us to go wider, to go higher. But we're so comfortable within the confines of that brick and mortar. And God is saying, no, I'm giving you a global platform. There's still countries that have not heard the gospel. And so, it's up to people like Elder Alicia, who is saying, I can help you reach the masses. I can help you, do what you have committed yourself to doing. And it can be done without, you kept saying, without the frustration. You don't have to do it frustrated. And so that's what I love about it. And I just see souls being saved, and I see disciples being made because of the impact that you are having on these ministries. And I'm just excited about the world change, because the world is going to change because of this. I truly believe it.
I think it's opened up a door for us to take ministry to places that we wouldn't otherwise walk physically to.
Definitely. People are hurting everywhere. That's what, something that I think that even we pointed out this, the people that we see it in contact every day, they are absolutely hurting. And, as wonderful as I like to think Alicia is, there's something deeper that has to go in for a person to receive transformation. Alicia would just be a vessel. We all are, but, to just really and truly just be open to them. But the world is crying out for answers, and the psychic friend went off the chain with the amount of money they have made, because people, are so desperate. And the unfortunate side is that, we got to understanding they're allowing all kind of spirits, into their lives and probably complicating things worse. But the key is that they're hurting and trying to find some relief. And God has put all of that relief and answer into you. What did the apostles do? They distributed relief. And that's not only physical, but that's also a lot of times with the spiritual, with the word you can give and with the wisdom you can get, or even tell them that I know a place where you'll thirst no more,
Ooh, so girl, we need about one more hour.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
Can we do one more hour?
You gotta pull my mic, probably cut my thing. It's like, yeah.
Well, you know what they say about preachers and teachers.
Yeah, I was like 20 minutes. I think I messed that up, but yeah, okay.
You are right. You are right. You are all right. So again, those are our closing remarks. We've had a blast. Let me tell you.
Yes.
These few hours have went by and we didn't miss a beat this morning. Miss Rose, you have anything you'd like to add to today?
Yeah, I'm over here talking and I'm just on mute, y'all. I'm on mute.
Yeah, I was just gonna
I'm
say
on
you're on
mute.
mute.
I'm on mute. I just want to say, as someone else said, thank you. You know, a lot of times serving in the kingdom, serving anywhere, sometimes all you need to hear is thank you and that you are appreciated. And I appreciate and we appreciate all of you all for being here today. This is a testament to live. We are live, you all. And when things sometimes don't go quite the way you want, you have to improvise. But what I found this morning is God worked things out the way that they're supposed to.
Yes, yes. Thank you, God.
The way that, yes, the way that they are supposed to be. Miss Alicia, Elder Alicia, thank you, because you surely blessed the people this morning. Thank you all for showing up. And those in the Zoom room, thank you all for showing up each and every
Yes.
day that you have. You all have been coming in here strong since Thursday.
Yes.
And you all are holding tight to that. Okay, so be on the lookout, like MJ said, because we'll be probably sending out a notification that we may be starting a little earlier, and we want to see your face in the place. I still hold to the same mantra. Don't meet us here, beat us here.
Beat us here.
Have a wonderful day on purpose. And that's all I have.
All right. Does any of my other beautiful sisters have anything you'd like to say in our closing remarks today?
I just love that. Have a wonderful day on purpose. I love that. I love that. Intentionally have some purpose in your day.
And those are my 2 words for 2021. Unapologetically intentional.
Oh, intentional is my word too.
Oh, okay. Unapologetically intentional.
Unapologetic. Unapologetic was my word about 2-3 years ago.
Unapologetically intentional.
Mine are intentionally and bulletproof.
Oh,
I like that.
Pierce.
Well, mine is motivated and determined.
All
right.
All right.
Pursue, overtake, and restore. I promise you, that's what I'm doing.
Oh man,
you know what came to mind when you said bulletproof?
What's that?
I said, you know,
other than Superman.
You know what came to mind when you said bulletproof?
Coffee?
Teflon Dawn.
Teflon Dawn. That's what Coach called it.
Girl, that sounds like a superhero. That's a superhero name, boy. You need your cape.
I totally need that stuff to just wash right off. Don't
Honey,
even
that's a word right there.
That's it. Teflon Dawn.
Yes, Teflon Dawn. I love
that.
It. Now see,
my next poster is gonna be.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Because my word for the year is undeniable. I will not be denied.
Come on now.
Okay.
I'm loving that.
But see, that goes back to creating our world.
Right.
Creating our reality.
Right. Create what you want.
And for the people
I had a series of words. I had focus, finish, focus, forward, and finish. However, what I have found after 2021 and wanted to play around up in here, I'm bringing back my last year's words, which is intentional. Because baby, you have to be intentional about everything you do. There has to be a strategy behind it. There has to be a mindset shift. And so it was like, well, yeah, I'm going to keep that as a phrase. But baby, I had to bring it back because evidently I hadn't walked out intentional yet. Round 2. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes you got to hold on to it.
Oh gosh, I love it. I love this community. I love you guys so much.
Cynthia,
oh my gosh, I love
saying something to us.
The gremlins are trying to get my system, first of all, but I want to say for the people in the Zoom room, again, what Rose said, I piggyback on that. Thank you so much for showing up.
Yes,
thank you for saying, and I will say that there's a person that I invited and she's in the Zoom room and she's been here every single time, and I've been so proud of her, and I've been reaching out and trying to pull her back for years and years and years, just reaching back and trying to pull her forward. So do not forget, there's somebody out there that that needs this. It's not too late. It's not too late to get a ticket. They'll get opportunity to continue to see additional speakers live today and tomorrow. Also, they'll have an opportunity to go back and get the replay, which is so powerful, because if somebody's telling me from what we saw live this morning with the beautiful elder over here, that you got 10 pages live this morning with the elder, what are you going to get when you go back and watch that replay? I always say it's like going back to watch a good movie. You saw something that you really loved that first time because you got 10 pages of notes. What are you going to get when you go back to that replay and you watch it the first time and then the second time and then the third time? That 10 pages of notes will probably turn into 100 pages of notes, because you always miss something or you see it from a different perspective when you go back and take a different look. So please do not forget that in this community, we like to lock arms and support each other, and we bring people along who we know need this. Maybe the person doesn't know right now that they need it, but that they need it.
That's
so be that springboard, bring them into the community, and hey, for $20.21, if you got to gift somebody into this community, because that'll be the best gift that you've given them and probably that they've ever received once they truly receive it. So I like it when Alicia said, I've done my part. So go out there, do your part, bring them along. And then, trust that what we have here is good. You've seen it up close and personal, and that they will receive it. And then they will come in with the right mindset, and then the movement. You guys know I'm about that movement and mindset. And you guys were talking earlier, my computer was acting up. I didn't get a chance to chime in. And Vicki, we were talking about how we learn and life, and Rose was making comments about that too. And one of my great mentors says that you live your life forward every day, but you actually understand it backwards.
Absolutely.
Because
that's good. That's good.
I love it.
Let me put that in the chat.
Let me put that in. Look, I'm putting that in the chat.
Yeah, write that down because we'll forget.
Hey, who said that, Dr. Cynthia? I'm gonna need to put that quote. That'll be my post.
Yeah, repeat that one more time.
His name is Dr. James Dentley.
He's all doctor from the radio show, right?
Dr. James Dentley from the radio show.
Okay.
Yes, Dr. James Dentley.
All right, say it again, Dr. Cynthia.
Live each day forward, but you understand backward.
Yes, you live each day forward, but you live life forward, but you understand it backwards.
I've been missing my bestie Monique hasn't been here this morning.
I know, I'm surprised. Oh, she's probably at church.
She's at church, and I've been thinking, where's that girl? And I'm like, oh yeah, she's at church. I've said that at least 5 times today. But you know what? I just think that I've been to church this morning, so I haven't missed out on it.
And see, that's what we're talking about. There are different ways to serve in the kingdom. Church is not always just in the building, in the church house. Church is wherever 2 or 3 are gathered.
Yes, this has been amazing. Amazing.
Ever 2 or 3 are gathered.
Thank you, Alicia, for delivering all of that. All that, like I've seen it over and over in the chat about thank you for that food, for that nourishment. It's been a great, great start to today's Total Woman.
Praise God. Yes. I'm excited about tonight. I know we got Dr. Chanel and Dr. Jamie. Yes, they're gonna bring the fire and the healing.
Yes,
and then the motherland all over them.
Oh my goodness.
In our purpose. Yes.
That's what today I was thinking. Oh, I know they're gonna be sitting in such a serene location. We're gonna get a chance to see Africa.
Oh my God.
That's all right.
And the fuel and the food and the stuff that they've been consuming
my goodness.
these last few weeks.
Yeah.
I can't right now.
I can't wait till we get on our private jet and go over there.
There we go. There we go.
The whole
I'm excited.
community.
Call things as if they are.
I can just see.
Oh, it's gonna happen. It's
I
gonna
can
happen.
see.
Call it
I can
into
see that.
being.
I can
Goes
see.
back to that. Don't lose it. Get rid of it. We got.
I can see us.
That's right,
I can
Dawn.
see it. I can see us all on one jet, and we're just going over there, and we're gonna
Yeah.
stay a few days. I'm
Yeah.
talking few
no,
days.
No.
Look, wait a minute. No,
Please
I'm talking about.
recoup.
I'm talking about a few days, 2 weeks. You don't go to Africa and
Right.
stay
Okay,
for 5 days.
I was
You
gonna
go
Right.
stay 10 days
Recoup
over
the
there.
flight and then go have some fun for a couple of weeks.
Hey,
Ooh,
we can
wouldn't
do
that be
that.
That's
Fly
what.
home.
See,
That
that's
would
what
be-
freedom
I'll be
affords
staying for a
us.
few months.
That would be amazing.
Would that
Aren't
not
we
be
going to
great?
retreat over there? Aren't we doing a retreat? One
We
of these years?
can. We most
can
definitely
We talked
retreat
about
for a
that, or
whole
did I
month.
make that up?
call it into being.
It,
We can.
You are
We can
calling
have
it seems like it seems like the
I think
community
it's time
needs to
for
get this together.
international. I think it's time for an international retreat. You know,
Yeah.
a
We
destination
can have a
retreat. I think
month-long-
it's time.
A
Absolutely.
I think
month-long
it's time.
retreat. A month-long retreat. That would be
Yeah.
awesome. And I'm sure they would welcome us with open arms.
Oh my gosh.
No doubt.
Well,
That
y'all
would
do
be
know
so
I
amazing.
let go of the job, right?
No.
Woo!
Yeah,
See y'all.
Awesome.
I did.
Freedom
I'm
ring.
not rocking no more with no classrooms and they foolishness. Here's the thing: I'm an education administrator, but you know their level of value for me was like so and so called off and so this, and it was like so yeah, $75,000 a year a job. Deuces. So I have a couple of contracts. I have, your degree, you can do thousands of things with it. So I have a couple of private contracts I went ahead and aligned to, but I made a promise to myself, after I went through that last divorce, that I would not align myself with anyone that did not value me. And I mean, that is from intimate relationships to friendships, right on down to business relationships and the job. And they simply didn't value Alicia. And so I said to myself, you sitting here with $1 million mind and you sitting around here dealing with this foolishness and folks in the back, whatever it is, God has called me to greater. Deuces. And ain't missed a beat, honey. I made $1,000 last week. I'm not hurting, you know what I'm saying, without them, but got all the peace and everything else inside with not dealing with them.
Total woman. Total woman.
Is I can go to Africa.
Talk about total woman.
I ain't got to request no time off work, none of that.
Absolutely. Hallelujah.
Several nights ago, I said, you can come here a third of a woman, a half of a woman, a fourth of a woman. But when you leave here, you're going to be a total woman.
Come on now.
Jesus.
Come on.
And I mean that. That was the heartbeat of the entire summit, is that we made women understand it is here. The total woman is here. Invite her to come out.
That's it.
Now.
Rose, you said to speak it into existence. So here, I'll speak it into existence. June is Internet Safety Awareness Month. That is all about protecting children online. So June is my month. That is my month that I'm going to be launching this whole thing. And if I do this like I'm supposed to do this, or I will be doing this like I'm supposed to do this.
There we go.
And I plan on leaving corporate America because I'm doing this like I'm supposed to be doing this by my birthday in July.
All right, let's touch
All
on
right,
it.
now. We gonna touch
Can you put a number on it? How much are you gonna make? How much you gonna make with your launch? Can you put a number on it?
Can I put a number on it?
Yes.
6 figures.
Okay.
6 figures. 7 figures.
Touching the green.
6
What do you
figures
believe
or
it for,
7
Dawn?
figures.
Dawn is
Can you
smiling, not
believe
saying nothing.
big?
Oh yes, I definitely want to think big. My goal, okay, so it wasn't 6, but it was 83,000.
We're going for 6,
baby.
A month.
We're going for 6.
Who's believing
a
6
month.
figures for
We're
Dawn?
going for
I'm
6
believing 6
figures.
figures for Dawn.
6 figures. This is the year of
Okay.
6 figures.
MJ,
Yes.
$83,000 a month.
That's more than 6 figures.
There you go. There you go.
Dawn, I'm in
Love
the corner
it.
with the girlfriend. I'm loving it. I'm
We
loving
stand
it.
in agreement with you.
I
Yeah.
stand right in
I love
agreement
it that
with
you
you.
guys
Touch and
do.
agree
I
with you.
love the support, and I'm here for you guys as well. And that's what's so great about all of this.
You know, Dawn, it's funny that you said 83,000 a month.
83,333, I think it is.
My
I already
goal-
know where you get that from. I done used
Uh-huh.
that calculation. I already know. I'm about to take off and shout.
Hey, they say shoot for the stars, then you may still land on the moon. So 6 figures
Absolutely.
is my moon, 7 figures is my stars.
Come on
All
now with
right.
it.
All right.
and it's so possible. It's so
It
possible.
is very
guys.
possible. It is
It's so
very
possible.
possible.
There,
Woo.
now I said it.
So now
And
it's
don't
out
you feel
there.
good?
So now you let the universe know.
That's
You
it.
let
Now
the
the
universe
universe
know.
will work on your behalf to make that happen.
Yep,
Yes.
absolutely.
And not only that, Dawn, even with just making that statement, I am sure that there are some people that are in the Zoom room as well as on live that you have encouraged to think big.
Yeah.
And not just think big, put it on paper as to what it takes to get there. And if you don't have a coach that will help you know how to put that on paper, let me tell you, Coach Danielle and her community in this place, you gonna put it on paper.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
not
Again and again and again until you get it.
Mhm.
You have to.
and it ain't writing, and it's not gonna be writing 83,333. You're gonna have it in your face to know what it takes to get to that 83,333.
But know
Yeah.
the power of the community, because if Dawn would have tried to say $800, we already know, okay, we would not
That
have
ain't gonna
allowed her to
happen.
do so. But that's really such a difference when, you know, it's just you by yourself and you trying to, you know, make goals and encourage yourself. And Lord knows there's nothing wrong with encouraging yourself, but it's so much different when you have, you know, these women with, you know, similar hearts and minds and really rooting for you and want the best for you. It makes so much of a difference. I don't
and
think there's
Coach
anything
knows.
that, you know,
I
things
think
that
I was
I've
about
done, I
to
could have did
pass on
without you
her.
guys.
And Coach knows that we have $1 million ideas. And she's told me, I don't think you get it. I don't think you understand. And I do. I know that I do. And it's comforting to have the support and knowing that she's going to help me get there. I don't have to know it all right now. I just have to have faith that she does and she'll get me there.
Yeah.
Come on now.
And we're here to, you know, the world is in a place where it needs healing on all sorts of levels. And we're talking about the emotional healing, the spiritual healing, but we also need to heal our homes and our children and keeping them safe. So I just fit in a different area of healing. It's still all about healing this world. And we really have to start looking at where are our children going to grow into if they don't have that spiritual element that is secure, if they don't have that emotional element that's secure, if they're not even able to go outside or online without being secure. It really is a total woman, a total human element here. We have to heal every aspect of, you know, being secure and safe so that we can have good quality lives and so children can grow into those adults that they're always meant to be.
Absolutely. See, it's a different
Security
way-
is
like
so
you said, it's a
important for
different way of
kids.
healing, and it's also a different way of serving. And see, that's what shows that you can have different skills and abilities in the kingdom and still be able to heal.
Absolutely.
And to
Yeah,
serve.
that's it. Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all this, and I know we got to go, but I'm thinking along what Dawn does. We were watching something on the internet on my Promethean board, and in the middle of me going from one something to something else, all I was doing, I was getting ready to type it in, and all I saw was, in the whole class, we literally almost passed out, but all I saw was porn. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It only takes a link.
But
on the wrong
we're
link.
talking about
Wow.
all type of
platform,
all of this, all of that, and for that to come through, It
Yep.
took, I mean, I had needed
And
a
that
minute to
loop
get
is
myself
terrible.
together.
Yeah.
And so I don't, you know, we have to protect. The good thing is I was there to hurry up and click off. It took me, it seemed like forever to do it. My nerves were so. But what if I was not there? Curiosity would have gotten the best of those 6th graders.
Yep.
What if I wasn't there? I mean, we have to protect our children at all costs. It's, you know, there's no amount of money that's too much when it comes to the safety and the security of our children.
Yep. And
Right.
you know, the biggest weapon against cybercrime in as far as children are concerned is knowing that their parents got their back. Their parents are their protectors. And that's what we want to get parents to that position, that they can be, that they will have that confidence and that they will be there, just like you said.
Safety is a human basic need, you know, and
Yes.
security. And when a child does not feel safe and secure, you know, it messes with their whole development and their sense of being. And just from my educational side, honey, they're going to act out. Okay. And they'll start talking. That, see, we know everybody business and we ain't trying to, but it's really just they don't know how to process the fact that, you know, because of these decisions that are being made or not being made for me, I don't feel safe. That's the underlying words. So
Exactly.
you 100% hit it. The greatest gift you can give your child is to allow them to feel safe and secure